Hey everybody, it's Dick here. This is part 2 of my Triumph Speedmaster review. If you'd like to learn about the specs and facts and figures, you can watch my first video or you can go to the Triumph website. Needless to say, I enjoyed this bike enough to do another video. There'll probably be 3 in total because of the footage I've gotten and how much I enjoyed this bike. In this episode, I run the Speedmaster through the back lanes and hedgerow lanes and single track of Britain to get an idea of how it works in tight spaces and whether it will fit the bill in our fleet. Whew. It's nice and torquey. Look at that. Third gear. It's just right to that rear wheel. And I do like these. I do like the breadth of these handlebars. These handlebars are nice. I was riding my Street Cup down to demo this, and I like those front brakes, very grabby front brakes. So I was riding my Street Cup down to demo this, and even on my long Scotland trip, I've noticed that I'm getting a bit of a pain in my shift side knee. I noticed on my long ride to Scotland, and lately when I've been riding the Street Cup, I'm getting a little bit of a pain in my shifter side knee, and the controls are a little farther back than mid controls. And I'm not a tall guy, but I think the bike might be a little small for me. I'm bending my knee a little more than what's comfortable, and I'm getting a pain in my knee on longer rides. But these forward controls, these wide handlebars, they're a bit nostalgic for me, I think, too, because my first bike was a big fat cruiser, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm back on the back roads that I normally ride on my Royal Enfield and my Street Cup and the Mutt. And I've been bringing... Just listen to that. I've been bringing all the bikes I've been test riding out to these roads. And some are good and some are bad. Haven't had a forward control cruiser out here. Let's see what it's like. Is it the 22nd yet? I think it's the 21st. This road's going to be closed on the 22nd. Probably fix all these winter potholes that I experienced the last time I was out here. Some nice engine braking. Just, I don't know if you can hear the pop through the microphone, but just resting on the gear coming down that hill. It's really nice. I mean, it's a wide handlebarred bike, and with your feet out in front of you, you kind of feel like you're taking up more space than usual, but going through those narrow bits weren't too bad. Wasn't? Going through those narrow bits wasn't too bad. I think this bike will be nice on roads that you can see the end of your sweeping turn. Not entirely sure blind curves are a good thing for it, but roads where you can get nice views and some sweeping turns, see the end of your turn. Yeah, it's nice. The balance is so low. And it's just all power, man. I'm going around the world to the left with my indicator on, though. Oh, you're just being, oh, you feel like you're on a railroad, an old steam engine up that road. I'm interested in the steering radius and doing a U-turn on it. I think, ooh, it's long. It's long. Up on the curb and down the other side. It's so low though that when this is one of those bikes that you do your duck walk U-turn. You're not taking your test on this bike. Just gonna rest. Second gear. Just resting on that engine, resting on that gear. There's a little bit of a burble coming out of the tailpipe. A little bit of a pop. Yeah. That's nice. That's nice. Heated grips would make you really happy right now. My fingers are getting a bit chilly. Let's thread the needle on this puppy. What a glorious day. A little chilly, the roads are a little slick. There was lots of ice this morning. But I'll tell you, happy to be on a bike. Happy to be on this bike. Wow, this is fun. This is fun. What the hell happened to this guy? Your axle broke. That's why you don't buy Chinese. I wonder where I am. I don't recognize this place. Make a right. I'm on a fuel reserve. Let's fill it up. Let's put some gas in it. That's convenient. So, just to show you, just like on the bobber, ignition is on the side there, and fuel cap locked, locked and screw, locked and screw, locked and screw. There's a new philosophy now at English pumps that they're not gonna release the pump. Oh, they did it. Good. I'm getting some shit about not taking my helmet off lately. This is twice the capacity of the bobber fuel tank. I think it's 4 liters. I'm not gonna fill it up. quiet now because I'm really considering this bike. I was looking at it because Fanny was interested in it, just like I took the bobber out. I wasn't interested in the bobber, and when I took the bobber out, I was converted to liking the bobber. But I think this is a superior bike in terms of rideability to the bobber. I like the larger capacity fuel tank. I like the longer fuel tank. I like the wider bars. I love the forward controls. I'm kind of wondering whether there should be 2 Speedmasters in the fleet. Sell off the bikes that we're not riding and just have a couple of Speedmasters that we go out on. It really is an enjoyable ride. I kind of feel like a cruiser's a bit formal. You're not commuting on a cruiser. You're not zipping down to the shop on a cruiser. You're not doing twisties on a cruiser, but there's a very different sensibility to riding a cruiser, and I'm not entirely sure that's bad. I thought cruisers were a bit pigeonholed, but I think there definitely has to be a cruiser in the fleet, and I know why. I'm starting to be reminded why Fanny is a fan of cruisers. I took the Rocket 3 out, which is a huge displacement cruiser. I did make the mistake of taking the R out instead of the GT with the more relaxed rider position and handlebars, but I don't understand why people have to go so over the top for their motorcycles. This motorcycle is a bit over the top comparatively to other things, but there's something very mellow about this. This is a very mellow motorcycle. I kind of feel like this motorcycle needs some sort of hippie style paint job. You definitely get an easy rider sense with this bike. Whoever designed this really thought about what a cruiser was. It really thought about what a cruiser was and has delivered on a really quintessential cruiser. And I think I said that before about the bobber. And again, same bike in essence, but this thing goes a step further. This is kind of like the Bel Air of cruisers. And it's better than any of the Harley cruisers I've ridden recently. Actually, not just recently. Dropped into neutral weirdly enough back there, but it was too relaxed. It was too relaxed to care. That rumble. I mean, you're close to it too. You're low down and close to that engine. But it's really sweet. I keep saying that. It's a sweet bike. Getting cavities just riding it. I can't really find much fault or any fault with this bike. Other than that really abusive suspension, but I'm starting to kind of go with the flow, go around, look for the bumps, go a little slower. This thing can barrel though. This thing can really, it's got great torque. I'm just babbling now. I'm babbling. This bike's making me babble. I'm trying to tell you guys. I mean, I don't watch my videos for the specs, guys. You can go to the factory's website, manufacturer's website, or anyone else who does moto vlogs to get an idea of what the specs are. Don't watch me for specs. I'm just going to tell you how it feels. This thing just feels good. It feels good. I mean, there's some, it's not choppery. It's not a chopper. There's cruisers that kind of try and ride that line between chopper and cruiser, or kind of badass. You feel like a rock star in a motorcycle club. This thing is not that. This thing is it's ladylike and gentlemanly. It's a wide, fat Cadillac convertible from the 50s. It's a 57 Chevy stock, not a hot rod. This is a dream. It's a dream. It's a dream to ride. You just want to lope around on it. I didn't think about it when I was actually on the highway, but on the highway, there was no issue with wind. Again, they've done really good job with the rake on these forks, that display being positioned in a certain way, that longer headlamp bucket than usual, and that really just sends the wind right up over your head. Doesn't hit you in the chest, doesn't hit you in the shoulders. You don't get that wind sail feeling you do on some cruisers. On the cruiser we have in the States, you get that sense. It does deflect it to a certain extent, but when you're getting up in high speeds, it does feel like you're gonna kind of fly off the back of it. But this thing I did not get that sensation. This thing is wide, so I mean those handlebars. And those mirrors go out. The mirrors go out wider than the handlebars. It's the first bike in a long time I've ridden where the mirrors go wider than the handlebars. It's funny, Fanny noticed, she mentioned how narrow the bike felt between her legs. And just power, 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 power. She mentioned how narrow the bike felt between her legs, and I thought that was an interesting comment because the bike is very narrow between your legs. It's very, very accommodating for all kind of inseam lengths. But I get the sense that I'm on a much fatter bike because of where my feet are and how wide my arms are right now. But it is a very narrow bike, but you're gonna clip those foot pegs on things if you try and get in between curbs and cars and things. And you'll definitely hit these mirrors. I can't imagine these mirrors are in the aspect ratio of the camera, so you're gonna have to trust me that they're there. Like all the Triumphs, it's got this really nice slipper clutch. It's not a slipper clutch, they call it something different, but it's a slipper clutch. Really easy pull on that clutch lever. Ugh. Couldn't miss that one in my loping along. It does just glide along. Just gliding along. Gliding along. You just rock your hips and this thing turns, but it turns like it's on rails. It's so smooth, and the weight is just so nice. You don't have to. You just take your hands off the handlebars, and you can control the whole thing with your hips. I do like these handlebars. They're in a really comfortable position. I don't know what else to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, but I would not be disappointed if I had this in the fleet. It would just make deciding which keys to grab a bit more of a deliberation.
If you like that video and you want to see more like them, hit like, share, and subscribe.